Liz, the Client Care Manager at Synergy Home Care, and I am also a home cook. Welcome to Let's Plate Nostalgia, the show where we hope to bring a little nostalgia to your kitchen. Today, my special guest is Betty.
Hello.
Hi, Betty. She is not used to being on TV, so we are very proud of her today for being here. What we're gonna make are homemade peanut butter cookies. We weren't sure what to make, so I went ahead and chose this one. While I did is because I used to make these with my grandma back in the 90s, and I loved them. They're really simple. It only takes 10 minutes to bake. I would get on a little step stool so I could get up to that counter, and I would push the little peanut butter cookies in with my fork, and I'm sure I did a terrible job, but my grandma let me do all of them, and I will cherish those memories forever. So this episode is gonna be nostalgia just for me, and I hope for others. Have you ever made peanut butter cookies before?
I have, and with my grandmother.
Oh, perfect. I think it's just one of those recipes where most people have made.
Pass it down through the families.
Absolutely. So the origination of the peanut butter cookie is actually kind of interesting. It has been around since the 1920s. It was invented or documented for the first time by a guy named George Washington Carver from the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. They were having some crop issues that were causing just an issue with a variety of ingredients, and so he wrote a whole book of what to do with peanuts. And by the 30s, his peanut butter cookie, one of the most popular recipes in that book because they're delicious, probably. And what is in these is really everyone should have in their kitchen. I know, like, if I need to bake something and I don't want to go to the store, this is on my top of the list. All it is flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, peanut butter, butter, an egg, and some sugar. That's it. And like I said, they only bake for 10 minutes.
That's great.
Yes. It's a great recipe.
Fast and out of the kitchen.
Yes, yes. As a working mom, I love fast and easy. Those are my two favorite words. So we are going to, with all baking, keep the wet and the dry ingredients separately, or you're just going to have a strange texture, which we don't want. So Betty, as my special guest, how about you mix these dry ingredients for me?
I would.
Let's put 1 1/4 cups of flour in that bowl. And I love, we are at the Villas of Hollybrook today, I almost forgot to say, and look at these really cute little measuring cups. Talk about nostalgia. I have not seen something like this in a while. Even these are cute. They've got all sorts of cute stuff. And Betty here has her walker with her, and she's just doing amazing. I think on every episode I talk about not letting anything hold you back, and this thing is doing a cooking show with a walker. I am impressed. Do anything you set your mind to, right, Betty?
That's right.
Looking good.
That.
Yep. Absolutely. You're ready? You're just gonna, there you go. Perfect. And then once that is in, we're gonna put in 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. A 1/2 teaspoon, so not much.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, I know, and you can see how she's leveling off that baking powder. You can tell she's a professional baker. And then how about 3/4 a teaspoon of baking soda? I've got such good help, I'm just standing back today.
A 1/2 and a 1/4.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Yep, it looks like we're missing a 3/4 teaspoon, so we're just gonna do a 1/2 and a 1/4. Get us there. She's leveling that off again. Baking powder and baking soda are where you get some of those rising agents, so it's good to be pretty exact with those two ingredients. All right, and your last item, Miss Betty, is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna make sure I've got everything ready for my stuff. Grab my egg over here. Perfect.
That's it.
And then let's give that a mix just to make sure all those dry ingredients are evenly distributed.
Okay.
You were telling me that you were a bit of a baker, right?
I was when my kids were at home, still at home.
Yeah.
I did more then than I did afterwards. I didn't feel like my husband and I needed all that.
I know. That is one of the things about baking is you kind of have to find people to pawn it off to where you're going to gain a few pounds.
Neighbors,
Yes, anybody, I'll take them.
everybody was glad to get them.
Okay, now I'm going to put my wet ingredients over here. So I have a stick of butter that I have let soften for about an hour or two. If you don't let it soften, it's not going to mix with the rest of the ingredients very well. So you definitely want to follow that part. And then let's see what else we've got. Okay, a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. Oh, my spoon's so big, I don't know if we're going to fit. Oh, no! We might have to take a brief break and get a smaller spoon. I didn't even touch that. Sorry. Yeah, even just like a regular breakfast. Oh, wait, what about one of these? Yeah. Okay, we are back with a spoon that can fit in our peanut butter. Pro tip, make sure that can fit in there. Peanut butter is so sticky to work with, but man, it is delicious. I think peanut butter and chocolate is one of my favorite combinations in the entire world.
I like these measuring cups.
I know, that's what I was saying.
Nice.
I haven't seen something like this in a while. They're all plastic these days. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to even that out, and I've got about 1/2 cup of peanut butter. For how much peanut butter taste you get out of these, you think there would be more, but it's just 1/2 cup. So again, it's something you should easily have around the house. And then I'm going to throw an egg in there, as well as 1/2 cup. Now my hands are all dirty. 1/2 cup of sugar. And you really can just dump it right on top of the peanut butter. Some will stick, so I'll just put maybe a little bit of extra, but most of it will get in there. You can see that pretty much all of it is. And then 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And don't be like me and spill it on the counter. And you can't see them today, but we have some residents sitting behind the camera, so I feel like we've got a live studio audience. We're being supervised.
We have friends and
Yes, I love that your friends are here to support us. Okay, so we've got our peanut butter, egg, sugar, and brown sugar. So I am gonna give that all a stir. Oh man, that is a lot of sugar and butter. This looks like a bowl of goodness. That butter is perfectly softened, so that is all mixing up. And I'm just making sure I've got everything on those sides. Look how creamy that is.
oh yes.
I know, I love that. Okay, now that we've got that all done, we are gonna mix, just making sure those butter chunks are in there. We are gonna mix our wet and dry ingredients. So Betty, if you could dump that in there for me. We got the biggest spoons. However you think. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna mix all of that together. This does get a little lumpy because there's not a ton of liquids in it. So I usually will kind of like do this number, make sure all of that is getting well mixed. Whew.
You're killing it.
I know.
Yeah.
My arm is getting sore. This peanut butter is tough to stir. That looking how it should though, so we're doing something right, Betty.
Oh, I think so.
Okay, perfect. I am pretty pleased with that. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Now we will get to the most fun part of this recipe, which is rolling the balls.
Oh,
Okay, so now that your dough is ready, you are going to stick that in the fridge for at least an hour. Otherwise, it's going to have a very moist texture that you can't really work with. So while our dough is chilling, Betty, let's learn a little bit more about you. You are from the area and you were a stay-at-home mom. Tell me a little bit about that.
We moved from Urbana to Lake Mattoon when we decided that it was time to retire from Sullivan Chevrolet here in Champaign.
Your husband worked there for decades, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like 21 years, I believe it was.
Wow.
We decided it was time for us, not for everyone else that was buying cars at the time. So
Yeah.
we moved to Lake Mattoon.
And you cared for 2 children?
2, yes, but at that
Perfect.
time they were grown and on their own.
When you moved to the lake?
The lake,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Wonderful. And how long have you lived here at the Villas of Hollybrook?
It's been almost 4 years now.
Oh, wow. It seems like you've made a lot of friends here from revisiting
yes.
today.
Real great friends.
Good.
In fact, all of them are friends.
Oh,
You know,
good.
we just visit with each other and have a good time.
It's one of the best things about living in a community is you get that sense of community and all that support around you.
Right.
And one of the hot topics right now is always COVID.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me about kind of the journey you and your community have been with and the restrictions and the masks and the isolation. What has that been like?
That was the pits.
That's a good way to put it.
Oh, yeah. Not being able to see anyone, to visit with them,
Yeah.
and having to wear a mask again now. That's back again.
Yeah, everyone was wearing a mask. You got to get rid of them for a while. And then now with Delta and fall, everyone's back to mask wearing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're both vaccinated, so we got an exception for the show.
Everyone here had their shots, so that makes you feel better about things too.
Good, I'm glad. It's all about protecting our seniors right now during this turbulent time. And how long were you on lockdown? Was it a few months? Was just a couple weeks? I don't remember.
I don't remember for sure.
I think it was at least a couple months, wasn't it?
It just seemed like forever at the time, but
When you have grandkids and great grandkids you couldn't see.
right, yeah.
That is so hard. I think senior isolation for everybody during this time. This was so difficult.
It's hard for everyone, our families, and they could still get my groceries for me, but they had to bring them up, put them at the door, then someone from the hallways would pick those up and bring them to me. My family could not come in
Yeah.
and all, so it was a hard time, but I think everyone just felt like they had to cope with it, and that was it.
Yeah, I think, speaking for someone that works in senior care, I think we all had to get creative to keep our seniors safe. So,
Yes.
and you stayed safe throughout. So we're so grateful for that.
I had plenty of books to read.
Good.
I love word find, so I had stocked up on those so I would have plenty of them to work in on my time in there when I couldn't go out. So
Good.
It passed just like everything.
Yeah, it sure does. Is this the first time in your lifetime you've experienced something like this?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, me too.
I'm 89 and never, ever had I ever felt so isolated as I did at that time.
In almost 90 years. Wow. I know. This is the first time I've experienced something like this too, of course, and I've hated it. Even for my generation, it's been terrible. And I have an infant at home, and so making sure before his immune system's all built and keeping him safe, I even found myself isolating a little bit.
Oh.
It affected us all in different ways, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I guess so.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about other people going through it too, but everyone was having it.
There are so many at-risk populations. You have our seniors, of course, but then you have those infants or pregnant people or people with pre-existing conditions and anybody like that. It's been, I think, a long year and a half.
Yes, it has been.
Well, let's go see how our dough is doing, and maybe that'll be ready.
Oh, let's hope so.
Okay, so we just got our dough out of the fridge. It has been in there for about an hour, and like I said, that's at least an hour. You can do it a little bit longer if you'd like. Kind of just depends on what you'd like the texture to be. So I'm gonna take a pinch, and then I'm gonna roll it up into a ball, and I'm gonna throw some at Betty, apparently. And I just want a little bit more, so I'm going to add another pinch. And then I like to cover it in just a little bit more sugar. That is an optional part of this recipe, but who doesn't want more sugar? How optional is it really? And then Betty is going to show us her skills with a fork. Betty, show us how you make that pattern.
Okay. First you press one way.
Perfect.
And then make the cross.
That looks gorgeous. And you can dip that fork in a little sugar so it won't stick as badly if you'd like.
That will help.
So, Betty, you said you made these with your grandma, too. How long ago was that?
Oh, my gosh. When I was probably 10 or 12, and I'm 89 now, so it's been a while.
Like 70 years ago. Oh my gosh, that's amazing to have those memories. And
we would make these, and we would make a sugar cookie. Just a plain
yes.
sugar cookie. No icing.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma didn't want icing on her cookies. So.
That is true. My grandma didn't really do a lot of icing either. I feel like that's something that's become more popular over time.
That, plus it was an extra expense for them.
Oh, that's true. Because, yeah, that is, the time frame you're speaking of was kind of nearish the Great Depression, right? Either during or after?
Yes.
Yeah, I did an episode on that and just kind of how people were so creative during that time. Yeah. My grandma also liked to make coffee cake with me. Did you ladies ever make coffee cake?
No, that I did not make.
That was probably my grandma. That woman can drink 3 pots of coffee a day. And she's 85 now. So how that has not caught up with her, I don't know. It's a lot of caffeine.
I like the size you're making these.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I'm putting them about 2 inches apart. I really don't like my cookies to touch each other in the oven because then you have to break them apart once they're out and it's not as pretty. And I like things to be pretty.
I'll turn this around where you can maybe reach it a little bit.
Perfect.
But you can kind of see how this recipe is great for 2 people to do together. And so it really is good for friends, family, especially with kiddos, because like I said, doing that fork thing is kind of fun, even for an adult. My son gets old enough, I'm definitely going to teach him how to do this. Although,
they always want to help.
yes. Although that little stinker's probably going to eat them all before they get in the oven. Hungry little guy.
And how big you make these balls kind of varies on how many cookies you're gonna get. If you make them kind of smaller like I am, you can get about 30 out of them. I've done them bigger before, just personal preference, and then you get 20, 25, just however many you want to do. But I think for our purposes, it's pretty good for our example. You have a lot of cookies here at the villas because I'm not taking all these home. Oh. And before you start this, you do want to preheat your oven to 375 and just bakes for 10 minutes. That's it. I think this might be one of the fastest baking recipes I've ever done.
I like the baking time.
I know. Well, really, too, if you have like a, what are those little toaster ovens called? Is it a toaster oven?
Well,
people have them in their rooms in these communities.
A countertop oven?
Yeah, a countertop oven maybe.
Yeah.
You could absolutely make those and these in there if you wanted to. But all right, I think for this, that looks pretty good. Look at those fork marks. Fantastic. All right, we're gonna stick these in the oven for 10 minutes and then we're gonna taste our handiwork, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think it's gonna be delicious.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it looks like our cookies actually turned out pretty good. You can see this cool pattern we made with the fork. It is so simple to do, but it actually looks a little fancy, so that's the nice part. And our live video audience joined us for the taste testing. So we have a whole gang here, which I'm so excited about, Betty and her friends. And ladies, what are your names?
Kay.
Kay?
Wanda.
What? So we got Kay, Wanda, and Betty.
When can we eat them?
You can eat them now. Let's take a bite.
Delicious.
That is very good. We did okay, Betty.
Yeah. Peanut butter.
A strong peanut butter flavor, right? And for only half a cup, that's impressive. Good. Well, you ladies are gonna have to help me eat all of these.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, we're going to keep chomping on these, but thank you so much for joining us today for Let's Plate Nostalgia. So, my cookie. If you have an interest in being on our show, like to see us make a recipe, please email me at elizabethsollard@synergyhomecare.com. Don't eat them. Grab them.
Oh no.
We are not ready.
An email notification popped up right as I was about to quit record.
I'm glad you noticed. I had asked her if she wanted to stand or sit here. No, you can sit back down. Yeah. You did great. What's a verdict, Jackson?
Oh, go.
I'm into dough, but not big dough.
Hello everybody, I'm Tanya Picard, the Director of Impulse Tap, here today with the Masked Tappers. We're so happy to have this opportunity to share some of our tap dancing and percussive music with all of you. We call ourselves the Masked Tappers because for what has now been almost a year and a half since the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we have all soldiered on. First, in the beginning, continuing to take class online, and then when we were able to come back in person, from that point on up to and including today, we have been tapping in masks, hence the name. So these dancers are a truly incredible group of women, one of whom some of you may already know, Julie Shuba. She is the director of the Family Service Senior Resource Center.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Tanya.
Would you tell us a little bit more about the video programming that you offer through CUWise TV?
Absolutely. CUWise TV is a community-wide effort born out of the Senior Task Force to connect with older adults by airing engaging content on local public television. Our goals are to reduce feelings of isolation and to increase opportunities to connect with the community right from your living room. So as artists, of course, we wanted to tap into that effort.
I think that's our cue. Let's tap!
We're going to do a little tap song for you now, and I suspect that many of you learned this as children, and perhaps even sang it as around. So we'll do it, and then let's see if you can guess what song it is. Here we go. If you guessed Trevor, you would be right. Now we're going to do it one more time, and this time we invite all of you to sing along with us. And also, this time we're going to do it as a simple round. So if there are more than 2 of you in the room where you are, please feel free to chime in that way as well. Okay, get ready everybody. I'm going to count you in. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Great! So now you can check off on your list Fun with Tap today. We're going to do this one more time, and this time we're going to take our cue from Mozart. Thank you, Amadeus, wherever you are. We're going to show you what can happen to this simple little children's song once it's given a little treatment. So we hope you enjoy it. Get on my phone. I didn't know. This last piece that we're going to do for you today is our love letter to Champaigner Manor. We call it Hallmark Card. We hope you enjoy it.
Hello, I am Michelle Roberts. I am the Program Director of the Occupational Therapy Assistant Program at Parkland College. And I'm excited to be here today to introduce you to CUI's exercise. And what this is just a couple little exercises you can do from a seated position. We're going to work on breath and some stretches. So sit back in your chair, your back against the chair, feet flat on the floor. And I'm going to have you take your arms out. Your arms are like your wings of the owl. The owl is part of our logo. So your wings of the owl, you're going to bring them out to the side. And you're going to bring them up and take a deep breath in as you go up. Only go as far as you comfortably can go. No pain with this. Breathe in. Turn your palms down and breathe out. And move slowly. We're gonna do that again. And you're gonna breathe in peace, joy, and then let out anything negative. You're gonna breathe in wisdom of the owl. And just let it all out. Then I want to have you roll your arms up, bring your arms, your wings back into a circle. Get those shoulders moving. Breathe in and out. In and out. Think about just spreading those back of your wings out. Okay. And one more. Good. And now we're just going to take another deep breath in with your wings. And breathe out. Another thing the owl does is he looks around, right? So you're going to just look around your environment to the right. Just look at what's around there. To the left. Just moving only your head as comfortably as you can. Back to center. You can look up. As long as it doesn't cause you to be dizzy, be careful with that. And look down. And come back up. And then lean your head to one side as well as comfortable. And then the other side. And that is your CUI's exercise. I hope you felt some blood moving through your arms and you got good deep breaths and you have a little peace and wisdom. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for tuning into CUI's TV. We hope you enjoyed the show. This video can be accessed anytime on youtube.com. In the YouTube search bar, type in UPTV6 and look for their microphone logo. We hope you will join us again next week for more local, engaging content designed specifically for Champaign County older adults. Take care and stay safe.